All right, it's October 31st, 2021. It's a clear day, about 64 degrees, and we're in Eagle Point Nature Preserve. Gonna do a little 3-point-something mile hike today. You can see they got 3 loops in this trail. Got the blue loop, yellow loop, and a red loop. We're gonna take all 3. I think we'll go off to the right. Most people go to the left, and they're walking a lot of dogs today, so I'm gonna go to the right and see if I can get out of that line of people and just cross them and meet them as we come back the other way. We're gonna go out here to the Eagle Point, so let's get started. It looks like they're marking the trail going both directions. There's a blue blaze from the direction I'm going now. Just passed a man coming the opposite direction. Happy as could be out here. Said he loved this hike today. Yeah, 64 degrees is perfect hiking weather, I think, because you don't sweat. And I'm out here in shorts and a t-shirt right now. Yeah, you don't have to go all the way to the mountains to get out in the woods. Every town, big or small, has areas like this preserve near them that you can get to fairly quickly. And you can see the leaves changing here too. Got a lot of pines in here. But we do have some other types of trees. It's got orange leaves falling on it. And see a few reds. Looks like mostly orange right now. You can see this hole right here, and this looks like a pile of dirt, but what that is where a tree fell over. And it's the tree's done wore off. You can see a big one up here to the right. Let's go up here and look at that, and I'll show you the difference. So compared to the other tree, this tree is just fallen. You can see the whole tree still intact going down through there. And this root ball is not as big as the one we saw up there in that bigger hole, but you can see how the hole, this is the hole where it was. And eventually that tree will rot away and there'll be a pile of dirt there, just like the one we just looked at. Back up through there. You can see a family just walked by off in the distance. They're going by it, but you can see that mound of dirt over there. A lot of times you'll see these mounds of dirt, and that would have been the remnants of an old tree and the root ball that fell over. Yeah, that one that we looked at first, looks like it's a pretty good sized tree. But it's pretty young forest here. I don't see any real big old growth trees. I imagine this might have been even farmland at one time before the park got it. Got another tree up here. Yeah, this is a pignut hickory. You can see how its green leaves are turning yellow now. Got some pretty color on that. They also have this southern red oak marked, and you can look at you can see the bark on that one. Oh, slipped off a root. And the bark on this pignut hickory kind of looks similar, but you can see the leaves are different. That's the main difference I can see. Because the bark is different, but it's also similar in a lot of ways. But you can see those leaves are a lot different than ones on the pignut. So bark and leaves and the way they're shaped and things like that, that's how you tell the difference in your trees. In the wintertime, you got to go by the bark and the way that looks mostly. It's the biggest help to identifying a tree. And then, of course, when it's got its leaves, you can use those. Of course, the nuts that fall off of it, things like that. I'm no expert at tree identification, that's for sure. So if any of you are, chime in and let us know the best way. You can see a little tree fell right there at that little mound. Looks like the tree actually fell toward us across the tree because the hole's behind it. This is the silver maple. You can see the bark's different on that. Going up, you can see those pretty red leaves on this tree. This is a young one. Right beside it, somebody's been stacking some rocks on the stump of this tree, so let's see if we can find us a stone. There's one. Add to the pile. See how high this thing can get stacked up. A little red berry right there on that leaf. Kind of remind you of Christmas. Be here before long. You don't want to get stuck by that bad boy. Kind of sharp, not bad. All right, let's stop playing around and keep going. Here's the American holly. You can see those little leaves off of it, like a little holly bush. You can see at your house, a lot of people's houses. This is a big old tree now. I don't know if it had been kept trimmed up, would it be a bush? Or is a holly tree, American holly and the holly bush, is that separate? You can see how got the little sharp leaves on this one here too. Yeah, I think a lot of bushes, if you let them grow, they'll turn into trees. Well, I'll tell you, some houses I've been by, they don't never take care of them, and they start getting those big trunks on them, and they don't look good right at the house. They end up having to just take the whole thing out and put a new bush in. So keep them trimmed, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if that hot American holly would be a bush if it was smaller or not. I have no idea. Not that smart. Got a white mushroom here too. Black cherry. You can see how different that bark is from the last tree we looked at. Most of its leaves already fallen. They're a little bit smaller than the last tree we looked at. This trail's wide. Gets used a lot. It's right here on High Rock Lake, not far from my house. That's why I decided to take it this morning. I've been up in the mountains. My last videos, we did Stone Mountain the other day in West Jefferson. Had a great time up there, and the week before we was up at Chimney Rock. But this weekend, I decided to stay close to the house. But next week, I think I'm gonna go east. Check out some towns over there, town centers. I like doing that. I hope you do too. But there's so many people going up into the mountains today, with the peak of it hitting here right around these last weeks here. I don't want to get in that traffic, so I think I'll just go east and do the opposite of everybody else and check out fall in those areas. So if you want to come along, check in next week and see what we got there. They've got a lot of pine in this forest. This is the Virginia pine here. A lot of these trees are blackened on their bark, so they did a control burn not too long ago. It helps to keep the undergrowth a little cleaned out. Helps trees grow and things like that. So it's good to do those every once in a while. It also keeps the fire load from building up too much and makes it a little bit safer. Looks like we got a split up ahead, so let's see what we got. So we're at an intersection now. The trail we have been on, that blue trail, it's a plant loop trail. And we're going to turn right and do the Golden Eye Loop Trail next. And you can see the plant loop trail goes back to the left. Basically all these trails meet on this road. This was a road at one time that goes back to the parking lot that way. But this little road, it cuts down the center of this whole thing all the way out to Eagle Point. So let's move on up and see if we can find where the Golden Eye cuts back into the woods. We're on the Golden Eye Trail now, and they got this little sign for the Vernal Pools. I believe that's how you pronounce that. And they're dried up now. I think that's one there, and looks like there's a couple holes up through there where the water would sit. What those pools do is allow plant life and animal life to grow there that couldn't grow if it was a full-time pond. And in the spring, the organisms will hatch there and feed and be very abundant. And in the summer, the levels will go down, and a lot of the animals will go out on the dry land. And then autumn, the worms and midges remain in the muddy puddles. Salamanders come to breed. And in the winter, they all sit under the ice and wait for it to melt and start all over again. But you'll find these crawling water beetles, the dragonfly larvae, caddisfly, marble salamander, spotted salamander, and spring peeper. You'll see those little pools, and if you ever see one, now you know what they are. And they're a part of nature, and certain animals need them. Insects. got a bench here at this intersection if you want to sit down, but this is Golden Eye Loop Trail. You can go that way or to the right, and since we're doing the right, we're going to do that. So this is yellow blazes we're going on now. Easy walking down through here. Pine needles, just gotta watch out for those stumps. You stump your toe every once in a while, like you hear me do some of my videos. Love it when the wind blows like this and all those leaves start coming down. My favorite time of the year is the fall. Of course, I was born in the fall, in October. So maybe that's a little bit of it too. But mostly I just like the feel of the weather and the leaves dropping around you and the smell. Just a good time of year for me. And I get those harvest moons and things like that during this time of year. Heat of the summer's gone. It's the perfect time right before old man winter comes in and chills things up. But each season has its pluses and minuses, and if you look for the pluses in all of them, you'll never be sad and you'll be able to enjoy it. Of course, winter's the toughest, so if you're not prepared for it, sometimes it can get you, especially when you lived a long time ago. You had to be working in the fall, storing up your food, and canning and things like that. Things we don't worry too much about these days, but we should learn to do those things again. My wife and I have done that, and we have food stored up now, because you never know when that transportation and delivery system might be broken, and it seems to be broken these days with boats sitting out in the ocean and things like that. So you never want to put all your eggs in one basket and count on supplies coming from overseas or just across the country. Even if the trucks stop running, those grocery stores go empty quick. There's a little trail that took off to the right. I walked down it a bit. I imagine comes off of a housing development up there, but I was just walking along and it just caught my eye. This red walking stick, I guess. Kind of had a snake pattern on it there for a minute. Had me pause from a distance, but it got blue and green marks on it. I don't know why it's stuck there, so I'm gonna leave it. Head back to the trail. Yeah, go off the beaten path sometimes and you find unusual things. Alright, so this is our third trail, Eagle Point Trail. This is the one that goes out on the very end of the peninsula. So we'll take that, but you could keep going left there and cut this off if you wanted to. But we want to do all three loops today, so we're going to keep turning right when we can. Get out here and get a good view of the lake. It's interesting how this moss is formed here, like little mounds, and it's just in this one little section going out through there. So I don't know what was needed to make the ground just right for it to grow there, but that's what it's done. It's pretty. A little bit here on the other side, but I don't see anywhere else, but just right there. I hadn't seen a trail out to the water yet, so let's go on through, do a little bushwhacking out here and give you a look at the lake. And then if I go a little bit further and I do have an actual trail there, we'll take that too. But easy walking through here. I'm probably not the first person that came down here to take a look. Got a few briars you got to watch out for. Yeah, this little cove right here, part of High Rock Lake. See some little animals jumping around the water right there, little insects. hopping around. There's a dragonfly over there, just landed. It's just beautiful out through there. You can see some houses on the other side. And this is why you got to have these preserves on these lakes. If there wasn't a preserve here, this would be all houses, and we wouldn't be able to come out here and enjoy the day like we're doing today. Yeah, beautiful clear sky. Loving the hike so far. I hope you are too. Back on trail now. I don't know if you guys like hiking in the woods as much as I do, or being in the mountains and things like that. But I've always loved to come out in nature. And if you like to read, or you like to listen to people read about the mountains and things especially, there's a website called Celebrating Appalachia, and I got a link to it in my favorite channels section on my YouTube channel, so you can click down there and find it. But the woman there has a great channel. She talks about Appalachia, and she likes to talk about the words they use and the way they lived and stuff like that. And I'm always interested in the way people lived back then. And she's reading a book right now in sections called Mountain Path, and her accent and all, and the way she reads the book really makes it come alive. And you want a good book to listen to, she's kind of like listening to an audiobook, but it's on YouTube and you can see her read it. And she does a chapter each time and talks about it afterwards. And I've really been enjoying that. So if you want to kind of get a glimpse into how the life was and deep in the Appalachian Mountains in the Kentucky area, check that out. It's a great story. It's got a little mystery to it, and I've really enjoyed it, and I think you will too. The trail's continuing on down that way. I can see the points way out there. I don't know if it may go out there further on that point out there, but I think I'm gonna walk through. It looks pretty up through there. Let's walk out to the end there and check that out. Another great view looking out into the water here today. Yeah, that trail, I can see, if you look at this peninsula on the other side, you can see the water through the trees on that side. So I'm hoping the trail turns and goes all the way out there on the end. I like jumping out here and taking a look when I can, trail or no trail. Walk around this edge where these trees fell. Look at this island. Yeah, got a little island out there in the middle. That's pretty. Take the boat out there and hang out if you got a little boat. Back out on the trail now. And as you can see, we're going out on that peninsula I showed you. We were standing right over there a minute ago. When we bushwhacked through the woods, you can see the logs where we were walking across there. Going out on the end here though. Ran right through a spider web on my way out. Had all over the lens. I cleaned it off, so I hope there's no spider web in your view right now. It looks clean to me. It looks like we're at the furthest point of this Eagle Point Loop Trail, but the point goes way on out there. Not sure why they didn't make the trail go any further. I can see where the water rises up in kind of the center there, but looks like it could have went on out there. Where it looks like a big tire right there, and I think it is. Trash floated in. Let me walk up there and see what that is. Yeah, trash. Water, you can see the water comes up here. The lake's down today, so the water probably comes up in here, and if they made a trail, it'd have to be right through that little section there. So I guess they just felt it better not to. Leave it to nature. Have a spot where we're not, so they can use it. Yeah, trash is everywhere. I hate that. Alright, let's get on back out here. Oil bottle. Yeah, we got to watch what we let flow into the water, that's for sure. Got another bench for you. You get tired about this point. Look out through here at the lake, but you can see where the water comes up and there's more trash everywhere. So yeah, I think this whole side is going to be full of trash as the river's coming toward us now. This is the main channel. You can hear some out there jet skiing right now. Yeah, the main channel's right out there. If you keep going down around the point there, going out to the dam. So this river starts up around, let me fix that exposure for you real quick. Right. Yeah, this river starts up around Chimney Rock, North Carolina. I've done a video up there not too long ago, some of you may remember. But that's the headwaters, and it goes on down through Wilkesboro. There's one little reservoir as it starts right there, but the rest of the way, all the way down to High Rock Lake here in this dam is open, and all the trash that flows into there ends up down here. And after a heavy rain, sometimes there'll be logs and trash. It'll be a little big trash field full of logs and everything out in the water, and you kind of have to navigate around it if you're in a boat. But it'll eventually come on down here, and a lot of it'll go to the dam where they clean it up, and a lot of it comes in these coves like this. And you see trash all up in here now, but they do clean this up from time to time, but people just throw so much trash out and these plastic bottles and stuff, and it's just constant barrage. So really take the time to make sure you secure your trash in a proper way. As we hike back in off of Eagle Point, I just got to thinking about how I haven't saw an eagle out here on Eagle Point. I do hear a crow off to my left. There are eagles up here on High Rock Lake. Up the road closer to my house, there's a telephone pole. Beautiful bald eagle makes a nest there every year. I thought it was funny, last year power company thought they was going to prevent him from making a nest, him or her, and so they tore the nest down. It was a nice big wooden nest he built it, he used every year. Tore it all down and put these little posts up around the top of the pole. I guess they thought the idea was that the bird would come in there and couldn't land because of those posts sticking up around the edges of it. But that bird was resourceful, and he used those poles to help secure his nest better. Had another nest there, and we saw him up there again. So sometimes birds can be smarter than man and go around whatever he tries to do to destroy his habitat. And that bird was using a telephone pole and everything they throwed at him to make a nice nest and have a good life. So he's making the best of a bad situation, I guess. That's what you got to do in this world. Take what's handed to you and you make good with it, or you make it better. As we walk back down toward the lake on this section of the trail, you can see all those logs I was talking about to get pushed in down the river all the way from up in the mountains. And feel that wind blowing out here too. Yeah, look at all that. I'm surprised there's not a lot of trash in it right here, but that's good. I'd rather just have the logs like this. So we're at the intersection of Golden Eye Loop Trail and Eagle Point Trail. Eagle Point goes back that way. A couple men just went down and I was coming out, and they saw me and stopped because they about missed the turn off. They wanted to go out there, so they stopped and turned, and I talked for them just a second. They're having a great day too. They were the only ones I've seen on that Eagle Point. So most people must like to take the shorter loops. We're back on Golden Eye, which is yellow. So it's I think it's blue for the plant trail, and then the Golden Eye here is yellow, and then I guess it's red or reddish orange looking placards for Eagle Point. So this forest we've been walking in is a fairly young forest, and I imagine it was a field much like the one we're getting ready to enter now that's growing over too. You can see how a lot of underbrush and stuff is in there. So that probably went on out, and over the years that'll continue to grow, and it'll be more like the forest we just walked through. But there's no old growth forest hardly around anymore, because back in the day they all cut it down for timber. You can find a few big old trees here and there. Duke Power State Park has some nice big ones in it. And I got a video on that. Also, Boone Cave has a big red oak, and it's huge. It was got saved. It was along the fence line of a field, and all those years never got cut down. So they're out there, but they're not like they used to be. But hopefully, if this stays a park, maybe 200 years from now, if you guys are watching from 200 years in the future and you're out here, hopefully you're walking through a beautiful old forest with 200-year-old trees, big trunks, like the ones they used to see, especially the Indians. There's a look back from the way we just came. Trail comes down, makes a sharp bend right here, and they got some signs. Make sure you don't miss it. Got a bench, got a table out there. I don't know what that was for. You can walk out here to the lake, take another look out there. Another beautiful hidden away cove here in this preserve. Looks like they've put up a little fence right there surrounding something in the water. I'm not sure what that is. I see another one over there, so maybe that helps the fish somehow. Anybody know? Comment below. I'd be interested, because I don't know. But since there's two of them, I'm assuming they're there maybe to help some of the life in the water. I don't know. It's beautiful down here. Don't see any trash in this section, so that's good. Yeah, I talked too soon. Somebody's little jacket of some sort with stars. But other than that, not too bad. They got this little box on a tree, and I saw one as I was coming in that said bat box, so it may be a little bat box, but I think the bees have done took this one over. You can see two of them hanging out right there. So they must have made them a little nest inside. We'll look at that other one when we get closer, but I need to make a bat box back at my house. I'm gonna make a pretty good size one, because up in my garage on my eaves, in between where they come under the eave, I got a screen on the inside, where in between there's about 10 bats. It's made a home up in there, and I don't mind them being there except for the poop that drops down on top of my ladders and all that I got on the back, and then right there at the driveway. So I think this winter I'm gonna make them a box, make them a nice one, and get a bunch of bats in there. We need those bats. We need bees, bats, all the things that help keep these forests running properly. So this view down through this section here gives you a good look at the different size trees. You can see the smaller trees as we go through what was obviously a field at one time, and then the larger trees that have grown out further. We're at another intersection now. It says the Golden High Trail turns left, parking lot goes to the left. And it's got a sign point here that says Heron Cove. If that's Golden Eye there, maybe this little trail is Heron Cove. So I'm gonna walk down in there and check it out, see if it leads to anything. If not, we'll turn around. You see this tree here broke in a windstorm not too long ago. Man, it's unusual to see one break that high up, and it doesn't look like lightning hit it or nothing. Maybe some bugs might have got in it and rotted it out, maybe ants or something. You can see it about pulled the root ball up as it was doing it. If it hadn't broke up higher, that's exactly what it done. You can see it was rotting all inside, where the insects had done their work and used it as food for themselves or a place to live, and they found a bit of dust, couldn't support them no more, so they had to move on to a new one, I guess. And this one just rotted into the ground for the worms and insects and other life that lives on them, like mushrooms and things like that. Yeah, this is Heron Cove here. It may just be a place you can walk down and picnic. I see a picnic table there and another bat box, it looks like. There's a bird house there. You might even, I'm not sure if you can fish here or not. I don't think there was a sign that said you couldn't, so maybe you can come down here in the water and fish. I wouldn't see no harm in it. If you're not supposed to and anybody knows, let us know below, but There's a cool little bench to sit on. Throw your hook in the water. A little bright out there, right there, where I'm doing that. There we go. See them colors better that way. Yeah, as I move in and out of the shade to light, sometimes that exposure will get off. I try to lock the focus exposure down so it don't jump around too much. I know in some of my videos you probably saw flashing skies and stuff like that. So that's why I try to do that. I'm not no expert on this camera, that's for sure. Just do the best I can do. Let's see. Nice picnic table out here. I don't know if the bats are still here or not. They were still in my... Oh, some bees done got this one too. I think the bats are losing out. Those bees or hornets. I'm not sure what. Anybody know what kind they are? They're getting ready for winter. There's a big old box down here in the distance. Let me track through these trees here and I'll pick it up there. Yeah, that's a big old hole, so that must be a big old bird. There was a nest in there. You can pull that bottom up. I don't know what kind of bird would be in there. Anybody know, let us know, because this little birdhouse is out in the water at times, it looks like, because all this wood has flowed up in here from the lake right there. A little bit of trash in here, but it ain't too bad, so that's good. I'm glad to see that. I'm sure they've had to come through here and pick up stuff from time to time. But yeah, y'all let us know what kind of bird goes in that birdhouse there. So yeah, I think if you had a family and you want a place to come out and picnic, I'd pick this Heron Cove out here. You got a picnic table here. You got that little bench to sit on, and they can fish down there, I imagine. Just nice and quiet. Not many people here today. This is a Sunday. And you can teach them about bats or bees, whichever one's using this at the time. Anyway, it doesn't loop around, so we're going back out to the golden eye, I think that's what we called it, under this tree that has broken down because of the insects that were inside, I imagine. We're going to head on back toward the parking lot. We just passed those Vernal Pools back there that we looked at and talked about the animals and plant life that use those, and we're back on this blue trail that's basically merges, all the trails merge on this little road going back toward the parking lot now. So we'll take it on back down in there, and I believe there's a canoe access area there. I'll show you that access area, and I think we'll call it in the parking lot. If you see that little rope hanging from that pulley, it's right on a cable that goes all the way back up to the parking lot up there. I think you can see a car just shining through the edge of the trail there. And they should have took that pulley back up with them and left it for the next person. But anyway, I believe that's where, if you got a canoe or something or a kayak, you can hook it up and slide it down this little pulley. But I don't know if I had one. I just carried it. It's not that far. You can walk out there and put your boat in right there and paddle on out and fish or just enjoy the day. Yeah, it's beautiful down in here. You just go in right there. You know, now that I'm down here, I was going to enter it in the parking lot, but that parking lot's kind of small, so it don't hold a good many cars, but like I said, small, and the driveway in is just about one way, so you have to pull over if you meet somebody coming the other way. I heard a lot of people up there talking, so I think I'm just going to end it right here at this put in for the boats. Hope you enjoyed this little hike around Eagle Point Preserve. I did. It was enjoyable. Come on out here if you live close by. It's right out Bingle Ferry Road, right out of Salisbury, North Carolina. It's a great little place to come hike. Also, Dan Nicholas Park's not too far from here. You can do a little hike around there too. I've done a video on that, but it's a little crowded. Anyway, I'm gonna stop jibber-jawing here and close it on out. I hope you enjoyed the hike, like I said, and if you did, I appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and share. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all take care. So here's that eagle's nest I was telling you guys about, and you can see those little poles they tried to put up, sticks or whatever on the edges. Old bird just used him to work that wood in there and make him a nest. Got a big one up there. don't see them today. Sometimes you'll see them up there.